Hello, and welcome back to Stream On. I am Hollis. With me, as always, is Eila. Hello, Eila.
Hello there. This is kind of a bittersweet episode. It's a tribute to Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, obviously included in that, but it's really going to be about the work of Rob Reiner.
Yeah, it's going to be a celebration. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be anything other than that. I have to tell you, I did, oddly enough, a Carl Reiner episode of Pop Culture Graveyard
Oh, really?
maybe 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever he passed. And I kept it light, I kept it happy, and that's what Carl always did. And so I think it would be really nice to pay tribute to the work of Rob Reiner, who gave us so much joy and happiness over the years.
All right, so we'll do that. In that spirit, we will do a tribute to Rob Reiner. All right. So, my introduction to him, of course, was All in the Family, which I just, it's my all-time favorite TV show. I think it's a perfect show.
I don't know that I knew that. That
Really,
was your all-time favorite show.
all-time
Yeah,
favorite. Yeah.
that's great.
Um, every script is like a short play because scripts were written very differently back then. They had long scenes.
Yeah.
Now scenes are much shorter. And he was just incredible on that show. As a kid, I didn't realize that he was supposed to be the opposite of Archie. I mean, obviously, I knew that, but I didn't know that the show was sort of like saying that he was an extreme also.
Right. He was the mouthpiece of the counterculture.
Right. So I didn't get that there was a middle ground. Like I was just with him all the way. He and Gloria.
He was such a progressive little kid.
I guess I was. So for me, it's someone that, I never got to meet him, unfortunately, but it's someone who I just knew from as far back as I can remember. How about you?
Yeah, I think it was. I'd hate to go on the record and say that it was as quote unquote meathead that I first saw him because I watched so much television as a kid and he did so many guest spots on
The Odd
different
Couple.
shows. The Odd Couple is what I'm thinking of as Sheldon,
Right. No.
Myrna's Penny Marshall, Myrna, Oscar
Yeah.
Madison's secretary's boyfriend. He had no O in the in the word Sheldon, and he was fantastic in that small part. I might have seen that first only because Odd Couple was such a special show to me as a kid, but it probably was Mike Stivic on All in the Family. And I have to say, I most of the time, like you, sided with Mike, but being a dumb little boy, there were times where I felt Archie got the best of Mike, and I was on Archie's side.
Oh, really?
Only because Mike could be so, even to a little kid, could be so pedantic, could be so like white or black about all these issues, and Archie went from his gut, which was invariably wrong, but there was something about taking the Ivy League guy down a peg, even though he was more like a city college guy,
He was exactly. So, yeah.
compared to Archie anyway.
Right. That's right.
But yeah, just it probably was All in the Family. And you're right, the two of them going back and forth, there was very little middle ground. It tried to be occupied by Gloria or on the rare occasion Edith, but more often than not, there was no middle ground. There was black or white, right or wrong, and
Yeah.
usually Mike Stivic was on the right side of issues.
Right. Because Norman Lear was more of a Mike Stivic, of course.
He
He was
was.
very liberal. But, sometimes Lionel was the middle ground.
Yeah, Lionel was so good.
He, oh,
The
he-
original Lionel.
the
The
original Lionel, yeah.
Lionel from All in the Family, who,
Mike
yeah,
Evans.
Mike Evans, who created Good Times.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
it
So
is.
if Rob Reiner had stopped at All in the Family, he would have been, like just amazing, amazing career. But he didn't. He continued on with this. He did still act, but his main thing was directing these wonderful films.
Yeah, and the first film he directed was This Is Spinal Tap,
What a
which,
debut!
what a debut, and also a kind of brilliant debut because it's a mockumentary, a fake documentary,
Which
which
didn't
is
really exist yet.
Not to my eyes, it didn't.
The
Yeah.
Ruddles, was that a mockumentary also?
The Ruddles was a mockumentary. It does predate this. It was All You Need Is Cash was the original um, kind of spoof that Eric Idle and Neil Innes did years before this, using some of SNL's players in it
Oh,
as well. But this was the first time an American director and
yeah.
American actors who were playing British took it on. And I think it's the perfect way for a director to kind of feel his way into a career. You know, it's not a straight up storytelling kind of thing. And it's messing with the whole fabric of filmmaking. Christopher Guest. Nigel Tufnell, the guitarist from Spinal Tap, would make a whole career out of fake documentaries.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I actually didn't see it when it came out. I came to it much later.
Mm.
Just because, that kind of music that it was spoofing, I never would have wanted to listen to. So
Well, Rob Reiner had been championing small film even years before that. He hosted Saturday Night Live and like forced an Albert Brooks film to be on the show. And
Oh,
everyone was up in arms and they were like, what are you doing? There's a live, the real juice of the show is the live stuff. What are you doing? But because Albert Brooks was such a dear friend of his, he made sure they played the film, even though the film was longer than they wanted it to be. So at the time, I was always team SNL, and I was like, who's this long-haired hippie? But even as a kid, now I look back and I'm just like, he was such an uncompromising artist who looked out
yeah.
for his friends.
And people in general. I mean, we won't get into his politics too much, but it has to be said that all he did was fight. He and his wife both fought for people's rights, even when it had nothing to do with his own personal rights.
For marginalized people, for
Yes,
people who,
exactly.
and it just underlines, and again, we won't get too deep into it, but like Mike Stivic, he was on the right side of most
Yeah,
issues, and he was right about one thing: the person who's marginalized, it shouldn't be their fight alone.
right.
It should be all of our fight.
And that's what he did with his powerful platform.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that, it was probably the most important thing to him from all the retrospectives I've been watching. And that's what his friends keep saying. And, you know, it's pretty incredible because he could have done anything. He didn't even have to do anything if he didn't want to. He didn't even have to work probably if he never wanted to.
He didn't. Before the term Nepo baby was a thing, this guy chiseled out his own path in a way that I never questioned as a kid. I was just, oh, Rob Reiner. I knew Carl Reiner. I loved Carl Reiner. I didn't really see the two of them as connected in a weird way. It's
Yeah,
odd. I didn't begrudge him a career because he was so damn good, and it wasn't the kind of thing where, it's a Julian Lennon or something where your parent is so overblown in one arena that you couldn't possibly chisel out a career for yourself. Carl Reiner was the consummate straight man, the consummate second banana in a weird way. And he birthed someone who was born to be the avatar of other people's dreams and to
yeah,
help them get a leg up and to make them shine as a director and a producer and whatever, and to work in two-hander scenes with Archie Bunker. Like Carol O'Connor would blow most people out of the water, but
yeah,
I felt that they were evenly matched, and that's impressive for someone that much younger than Carol
right.
O'Connor on that show.
Yeah. And, he looked probably older than he was at the time, too.
Yeah, in a way that most people did back then. And he
Right.
wore a hairpiece through most of that
Yeah,
show.
right.
He was
Odd
bald.
hairpiece, I have to say. Strange hairdo.
Odd but brilliant. The
Brilliant
people
hat.
who look like they're wearing a rug are the people that try to make it look too good,
All right. Yeah, okay.
Exhibit A, William Shatner.
Yeah. All right. So now let's jump into the movies. Do you want to just list some of the biggest hits or some of your favorites? Because then I'm going
Uh,
to specifically ask about your favorites. So
okay, good. Well, let me just run down. After this is
yeah,
Spinal Tap, The Sure Thing, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery,
Are you skipping any?
No,
Wow. It's like
one after
everyone
another.
is a blockbuster.
Misery is followed by A Few Good Men. Now we start getting into there was a misstep in North,
Yeah,
which,
that was
I don't
yeah.
count kids movies against these directors though, because they're kind of
Mhm.
their own thing.
Yeah.
A personal favorite of ours that we rewatched just recently, The American President,
Okay.
written by Aaron Sorkin,
Yeah.
which you don't get The West Wing, I give you, unless we get The American President.
Right.
Ghosts of Mississippi, the story of us, Alex and Emma, Rumor Has It, The Bucket List, Flipped, The Magic of Belle Island, and So It Goes, Being Charlie, LBJ, and we're already up to 2017 with
Wow.
Shock and Awe. And then you have Albert Brooks Defending My Life, the great documentary.
Yeah, that was great.
And then God and Country last year. And then Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, which is the final film attributed to him so far.
And we also should say, I mean, he wasn't the director of this show, but he was pretty responsible for bringing Seinfeld to the air.
Yeah, Castle Rock
Yeah.
Productions.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Now, I have a favorite, if you can believe that, with all these incredible films. What a run, though. I mean, wow.
Most
But
directors would be happy with 2 or 3 of these
oh, and he just
somewhere.
had hit after hit after hit. Okay, what's your favorite Rob Reiner film? If you have to pick one.
Ah,
I know.
different ages, different favorite.
Okay.
If you had told me up until like 10 years ago, maybe even, I might have said This Is Spinal Tap was my favorite. But I have to say, because I've I go by what I've rewatched the most.
Uh-huh.
And so I honestly think, I don't care if it hurts my street cred, it's probably The American President.
Okay.
Michael Douglas as the president, Annette Bening as the love interest, set in Washington, Aaron Sorkin script, genius.
Yeah. You know, Michael Douglas was talking recently, and he was saying how he and Rob Reiner had this shared experience that very few people have because they both grew up with these legendary fathers that they, had to really distinguish themselves from when they
Mhm.
began their careers. And they both were successful at doing it. There's not a lot of people who can say that.
Wow, that's so cool. You're absolutely right. That's amazing that they had that moment and it
Yeah.
registered for them and they got to share that and sit in
Yeah.
that for a bit.
So they probably understood each other in a way that most people couldn't understand them.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah, that would be the ideal director for him,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure. So what is your favorite?
My favorite. This is easy. Misery. I think it's brilliant. I love it so much.
Wow. I tried to rewatch I say try to rewatch Misery recently at Halloween. And I got halfway through and I was like, well, I'm not going to do this to myself.
Oh,
And I
really?
went away. But I'd seen it so many times. I
Yeah.
know the film like the back of my hand. Everyone in that film is so good.
Everyone's at the top of their game. Written by William Goldman, who is the absolute best at what he did.
Yes, my favorite screenwriter of all time.
And if you read his books, which lie did
Adventures
you
in the
tell?
Screen Trade and
Adventures in
Which
the
Lie
Screen. Yeah.
did I
Those
tell? Yep.
books give you so much insight into these movies. Forget screenwriting. I mean, it is about that, but not really. It's not like a how-to. It's the best read about what goes on when you're making a movie.
It really is. I just recently reread uh, a couple of chapters, the one on Stepford Wives, especially because I just reread the book and watched the movie, and I was like, I got to read his chapter on it, which is
Uh,
a very grousing chapter. I love it. Uh, but yeah, he was also a novelist, Boys and Girls
yes.
Together
Well,
and Marathon Man
The Princess Bride.
and The Princess Bride, which brings
Right.
us to Rob
The-
Reiner directed.
I mean, that is an absolute classic movie.
He talks about, and most people talk about movies as like these amazing things that all these disparate parts have to come together, and it's timing. There's a sense of magic to movie making that these things have to come together at the right time.
Yeah.
And Princess Bride is, I think, the ultimate example of that because you add Andre the Giant to it. Like
Yeah.
if he's not playing Fezzik, who do you get? He is the list.
I know.
Wallace
Right.
Shawn.
Well, Bubba Smith was on that list. Remember?
Oh, I like Bubba. I do like
Right.
Bubba.
The
But he's
chick.
bringing all that Police Academy kind
I know.
of stuff
Not the
to it.
same. Yeah. He might have worked, but Andre the
Right.
Giant was just, I mean, just absolute perfect casting, especially with Wallace Shawn.
Oh, they are just such. I wanted another movie with them. You
Yeah.
know, my dinner with Andre, but with Andre the Giant, opposite Wallace Shawn.
My dinner with Andre the Giant. That's
My
funny.
dinner, yeah.
um,
Uh,
just and then he put some friends in the movie. Billy Crystal's in there, and it's just he just made that movie even better than the book, which is it's such a rare thing. But I think he
yeah,
did the same thing with Misery too, which again is really hard to do because the books
right.
they just have the luxury of more time to get into these stories.
Yeah, but also the like, uh, I'd say the source material, the Princess Bride, which I have the book. He did a lot of heavy lifting for the reader or for the audience.
Hmm.
Where if I go back to that book now, I'm picturing his characters.
Yeah, right,
He really nailed the character, and I think that's what he's really, really good at. There's a reason that he uses certain people.
hmm,
It's not just that I want my buddy on this. It's I want my buddy on this because my buddy's perfect in that role,
right.
which is a little different from the way a lot of directors work.
Yeah, well, his friends just happen to be some of the most talented people, so that works out pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, some of the people he went to high school with, you just read off the list, and it's like from, Ricky Dreyfuss to,
Right.
it's pretty
Well, Albert
amazing.
Brooks.
Albert Brooks is who I mainly was going to say. Um, but yeah, I can't imagine growing up in that kind of creative crucible.
Yeah,
What his father's dinner parties must have been like.
right.
I think it's good in that you had to be good on your feet. You had to be uh, funny enough to stay in the room as a kid. But also, I think there's a little look behind the curtain, and it's like, I'm not intimidated by these people. It's Uncle Mel. That's Uncle, you know?
Right, and he grew up on the set of the Dick Van Dyke Show. I mean, he saw from an early age how to do this, and that you could do it.
Hmm.
I always wondered, like, why wasn't he Richie on the show? Was it ever
Uh,
a consideration?
well, that kid who played Richie was pretty good.
He was.
But I think also kids were so disposable back then that
Yeah,
if Richie started looking weird, they would replace Richie with someone that looked more like Richie.
or
So
just bring cousin Oliver in.
yeah, cousin Oliver. So I think it was too cutthroat. You don't want your own kid in there. Uh, but you know, uh, one of the first films that a lot of people saw by him, and this is true of a lot of young boys, is Stand By Me,
Hmm.
which is one of the few movies when you're a kid where you can watch a movie and find out that your intelligence isn't insulted,
Hmm.
and that these kids are being treated like adults, and they're dealing with real shit,
Yeah,
you know? And again, source material like
Stephen
Misery,
King. Yeah,
Stephen King.
Stephen King story.
But
Not
it's a
horror.
short story. It's not a
Yeah,
lot to
right.
it. So he fleshed it out in a great way.
Yeah, that was the first time I had seen Kiefer Sutherland.
Right. And River Phoenix was a revelation in
Yeah,
that role. I mean, I,
sure was. Yeah.
and it was such an island of misfit toys, these kids, and Corey Feldman is so unique in that, and he was a good
Yeah.
actor, and the kid that grew up to get with Rebecca Romaine
Oh,
before
Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell, like these were great kid actors, and
Yeah.
still River Phoenix, you're like, who's that guy?
Right. Yeah. Will Wheaton was perfect in that lead role.
He was a perfect everyman for the rest of them to be around.
And then to have Richard Dreyfuss as the
I was
grown
going
up.
to say his old buddy, his
Yeah.
old high school buddy, Ricky Dreyfuss. Yeah, it's kind of a. You talked about perfect movie. He's got a few movies you could kind of make that. Not
Yeah.
that they're perfect in the abstract, but of the movie as it's made, I don't see who could step in and do these better.
Yeah. Well, When Harry Met Sally, I mean, just that's just part of our culture.
Yeah. It's funny too because I think Billy Crystal, and I don't think romantic lead,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and somehow I buy it.
Yeah,
Somehow because
absolutely.
he's so charming.
And he also looks like a guy you see every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. And those guys end up with somebody. So why the hell not?
Right.
Yeah.
Um, that's the thing, even then in what's it, the 80s, late 80s when Harry Met Sally?
Yeah.
Even then you didn't have to look like you spent your day in the gym to star in a movie. Now you do. Now, you can't get around it, but back
Yeah.
then.
Speaking of the gym, this is the opposite of the gym. There's this great scene where Billy Crystal's character and Bruno Kirby's character, who are best friends, are race walking. Do you remember that? Now,
Yes.
that is just good directing. When you have two guys and they're getting exposition in and they're doing it in a ridiculous
Yeah,
way, they're just like power walking,
right.
which was a thing in
It
89.
was a thing. People did that.
People forget. They're just
I
like, why are they doing it? And they're wearing tights.
Right. That
They're
just
wearing like
makes it funny.
lycra. It just makes it funny. And it's like, that's good directing right there. Because in the
So
script,
for
it
me,
probably doesn't say
right,
power walking.
exactly. Right. For me, the funniest part of the whole movie is Suri with the fringe on top in front of Ira. That's the best.
And she doesn't, she's oblivious. Genuine leather.
And then yeah, she trails off. Oh,
She trails off. Oh, is it me? It's my voice, right? And she's like, it's Ira.
right.
Ira.
Terrible.
Yeah. Oh my
Who
God.
plays the
And
ex? Oh, I know. Harley Kozak. Is that who it is?
that sounds right. That
I
sounds right.
think maybe from
Yeah.
Parenthood.
I love when they go to the baseball game. Oh no, they go to the football game, the Giants game.
Okay, I don't
And
remember
they're
too
there.
much.
And again, they're having this deep conversation, but every once in a while they have to do the
Oh,
wave.
right. It's like they have to do it. It's like
Yeah.
required.
They're
They're
just
not
like,
into
hey,
it.
look, we're part of a group here. We can't let the group down.
Right.
And they never lose the expression. It's
Right.
just,
Yeah.
by the
Their
way,
heart's not in it, but their body's doing it.
exactly. By the way, there is, this is neither here nor there, but there are a couple of extras behind them in that scene that every time I watch that movie, I'm transfixed by them. It's a father son team, and it's this old white man, like a grandfather type, and this young black guy. And they are in such beautiful conversation, and they're like, but they're like going over and above, like, give these guys an extra dollar. Like they're really
Yeah.
pulling, and I just can't take my eyes off them every time. So next time you're watching that scene,
I will look for them.
please enjoy.
Well, they're smart. They knew they were behind, the stars of the movie.
Yeah, totally.
They're going to be on screen.
Use it.
All right. A Few Good Men. I mean, that again has become part of the culture.
I did a scene from that in college because it
You
was a
did?
play. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, I
Aaron's doing it
remember.
again.
Really good material.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jack Nicholson, I mean, he's lucky he had 6 films under his belt by then before he
Yeah.
had to direct Jack Nicholson.
Who really only needed one take, but he gave him as many as he wanted.
Yeah.
I think it only was like a handful of takes at the most
Yeah, the most.
in that famous scene. Yeah.
He's amazing. Jack Nicholson is the best. But also Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak was in there.
Kevin
Like
Bacon,
Kevin Bacon. Yeah, there was some
Kiefer
good. And
Sutherland,
Tom
who's
Cruise, of
dead.
course.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
So, uh, yeah, I think that was that's when he hit it, 92. He had all these hits and he was the director. He was the hot director.
It's pretty amazing. Just, when you think of all the people that are out there, right? He's the guy at the moment.
Yeah.
I think he achieved the same kind of status that Spielberg did.
Yeah,
Top tier, same kind of thing. George Lucas.
absolutely. And what we should keep in mind too is that even while he's directing all of these great 80s movies, he's doing guest spots in movies like Throw Mama from the Train,
I forgot who.
Postcards from the Edge.
Yeah.
believe it or not, he was the helicopter pilot in Misery.
He was?
Apparently, he's credited when they,
Okay.
were looking for the car. Um,
Was he in Bullets Over Broadway?
he's Sheldon Flender in
Was it
that.
over this time?
I can pleasure a woman multiple times a night. He's so good in that. And also Sleepless in Seattle, Jay
Yeah,
Matthews. He's
right.
Tom Hanks' best friend
Yeah.
in
I mean,
Seattle.
it's just what a career.
What a
All right.
career.
Are there any huge ones that we have left out?
Movie wise,
Yeah.
I kind of wasn't in on the bucket list. But I'll tell you, And So It Goes is another Michael Douglas and Diane Keaton
I've
that
never
I have
seen it.
seen.
Okay.
Yeah, it had negative reviews. I enjoyed it, and so it goes. It's one of these kind of, what is the best way of saying this? It's almost like every once in a while the older kids in Hollywood get together and just make a nice little film.
Mhm. Yeah. It's like
It's
one for us, right?
Yeah, it's one of those, and I
Yeah.
don't begrudge them that. And there's a comfort to that tone that I really enjoy in
Yeah.
films. So yeah, so he did that kind of thing every once in a while.
Well, I mean, it's overwhelming, the career that he's had and the life that he got to lead too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was born to do it, and he was, I'm remembering him on. He played a biker on The Partridge Family, and
Did you?
he took Lori to a date on at like a school dance or something, and he like dressed up in a necktie, like he just he's been doing it for so long that he's got a gift, and this is something that all of the acting classes are trying to hammer into people,
Mhm.
is being the same person off camera that you are on camera. And I've seen a million interviews with the guy, and that's who you get in all these films. He's
Right.
so comfortable in front of the camera. And it was almost a crime to put him behind the camera. But
I know.
but because he had that quality, it made him such a good director.
I know. I don't even want to say his true gift was directing because he was equally gifted as an actor. He just
Yeah.
chose to do more directing.
Yeah. I think if you grow up in the business like him or Ron Howard, and you're a natural in front of the camera, part of you just wants to get behind it because there's no big magic trick to it to you. Everyone else is like, "Oh my God, you're amazing." And you're like, "Really? I roll out of bed and do this. I wish you could do it." But, so it kind of makes sense to me. But
And
man,
also
what a
you get
gift.
to yes, and you get to be the one that shepherds the story along. So I understand why you'd want to be the director.
Yeah, he's such a good storyteller.
Yeah. So hopefully, the details of his death won't overshadow his career in the long run.
Absolutely. So thank you, Rob Reiner, for all of the beautiful films and all of the great roles.
And the legislation that you changed and helped change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks for being Mike Stivic in real life as
that's right.
well.
All right. Well, we will see everyone next time.